Hey there YouTube, Elite Legionario here, bringing you a 2 versus 2 for Total War Rome 2 or Rome 2 Total War. They have changed the title there. I'm playing as the Ptolemaic Egyptians. My ally there is Sparta, so this is another version where I have actually recorded the battle and then I'm live commenting up over the original recording. However, I did forget to actually turn my Steam my microphone off there, so you might hear me whispering stuff like in the original video, but only at a couple of points. But if I just talk loud enough, I should be able to override that. So I'm just setting up here and I'm just communicating with my ally. His name is Mr. Qua. So he's deploying like really far away from me, which I didn't want to do because I mean it's always better to deploy together. So I'm just telling him to stay together there. Anyway. He's Sparta, and of course I'm the Egyptians, or the Ptolemaic Egyptians. So if we look at my army there, I've got 2 Royal Peltasts. Now they are really good units. They're Peltasts, but they are really powerful. I've got 4 Hellenic Royal Guard, a regular pike balance, 2 Galatian Royal Guards. They are really good as well. Very, very good sword and shield infantry, extremely reliable. I've got 2 Nubian archers, and I have 4 units of citizen cavalry. Now I chose citizen cavalry clearly because it's a melee cav, and it's a fact now with Rome 2 that melee cav are just way more useful than shot cav because of the mechanics of cavalry in Rome 2. So that's why I went to citizen cav, and it's really the best melee cav that Egypt has. But it's a good shot cav, but shot cav is just not all that great. My opponent's army there is, I'm not really sure actually, I don't know if I actually took the time to zoom down on them, but he had quite a lot of archer units. I think they were archers, or they might have been slingers, I'm not, one or the other. Yeah, I get some close-ups of my own guys there, but probably, there's me kind of talking myself there, if you can hear that. Yeah, anyway, it was kind of late at night when I did this, so I didn't want to sort of wake anyone up, so that's why it might sound like I was whispering. So anyway, he said he's new to the game, but I basically just say no worries, everyone is, pretty much. This game is really, like, probably less than a month old at the moment, so everyone's still new to it in theory. But yeah, as I was saying with the cav before, melee cav is just so much more useful. It's why I've gone with them. So both their opponents are playing as Carthage, which made me feel pretty confident, to be honest, because Carthage, it's not a bad faction, but it's not as good as Egypt in my opinion, and it's about equal with Sparta. However, these guys, I think, were some sort of clan, so I don't know how good those clans were. So anyway, we're just going to advance up a little bit here. Their armies are sort of a mixture of Carthaginian hoplites, late Carthaginian hoplites, noble cav, sort of slings, and there's no elephants, which is a surprise because every time I run to Carthage online I always get elephant spans, but these guys were clan groups, so they're probably more honourable that way. So they've got, yeah, as you see, Carthaginian cav, late Carthaginian hoplites, there was some African phalanxes there, and just Libyan slings, javelin and slings, I think. Pretty much the same for the builds on both sides, but I'm not too concerned because, in my opinion, Egypt is probably in the top 3 best factions in Rome 2. It is very powerful, it's very reliable. I've definitely got the best faction out of everyone on the field, in my opinion, but I don't have quite as many units as the other guys. My units are more expensive. So basically they've gone with a pretty pike heavy centre, and then they've got the just regular hoplites on the flanks, and they're going to work together pretty close. We're going to have a significant missile advantage though, so we're going to want to close and battle pretty quickly. Initially I didn't realise that my royal peltasts were not, what actually happened is they don't actually want to throw javelins. I don't know, maybe I just used them wrong, but I'm just telling my ally there to bring us archers up because I'm going to need them, or his missile units there, because we're going to be outperformed that way. But this guy's got mostly javelins, so I can use my Nubian archers for range advantage there. So I'm going to pull my cav onto the right. Obviously I don't need them there on the left. And I'll basically use, initial plans there were to use my Galatian Royal Guards to outflank, but it's not really going to be that easy to do because they're so close together. So I'll probably use them to just ensure I win any cavalry fight. But as demonstrated in one of my earlier battles where I used Carthage against Citizen Cav, the Carthaginian Cav is very underpowered, so even Citizen Cav can really perform pretty well against it. Citizen Cav is overall actually quite decent for a pretty basic cav unit available to pretty much all the factions or Greek factions. So a good unit or a good cav unit, just sort of hold, nothing special, but it will hold. So anyway, I'm going to get into a missile duel with him here, but I will keep my range advantage because I can outrange his javelins. But I don't want to be taking too many hits from those javelins. The javelins are quite good against phalanxes, particularly the tight pike versions, or the Sarissa-based phalanx, because they are very good at hitting up close units. So I'm just going to open some shots onto his javelin there. He's bringing out a few of his sacred, I'm thinking of Rome 1 there, Carthaginian Noble Cav now, I suddenly forgot what they're called. Overall, they're a wee bit better than my cav, but I've got a couple of Galatian Royal Guards which I'll use to play support, and that should be easy pickings. So I'm just going to withdraw my cavalry there, basically to stop my archers, rather stop my basically keep them in range. As you can see, if you look what they're doing there, apparently this is something I didn't notice at the time, but when as you can see, my guys are hard grouped, and when they're in hard group, they cross their lines over, so it's stupid. So a really stupid thing where one that goes from the left goes to the right, and they swap sides, a pointless maneuver. So basically, I think in future I'll be using soft groups more. I've got to try and remember that. As you can see on my opponent's side there, he's just missile dueling away with them there. And my opponents are advancing now, so in a moment I will begin my advance because I want to close the gap before he can make effective use of those javelins, because like I said, they could be a nuisance to me. I haven't got as much infantry either. As I said, my infantry is very good, but it is very expensive, so it'll be handy. So interestingly enough, these Royal Peltasts, they didn't seem to have any Peltasts, like actual javelins to throw, so I was kind of like, I was a bit surprised at that. But it didn't really matter, because they are actually very good infantry units, very good infantry units. They really do fantastic in this game. So pushing on my flank there with the cav. However, I'm not really all that concerned because I know my cav's about equal with his, perhaps not quite as good, but I got a Galatian Royal Guard there, which is much better than any infantry unit he's going to use support. So here, I'm going to push forward with my Royal Peltasts just to force his javelins back while I push my advantage there and move in with my archers, so I continually put fire down on him. So it's noble cavalry these got. And as you can see, even though units are running, it feels very slow. It's probably because there was a bit of lag. I do get a bit of lag when I play Rome 2 online. So anyway, that's just the way that is. So here, when I was moving, he did catch me a little bit off guard, but what he's going to do is he's going to fully engage all his units. So I'm just going to pin him down with 1 or 2 units, and then I'm going to encircle him. And basically, I should imagine encirclement works in the same fashion it's always worked in previous Total War games, just speeding up the breaking of enemy morale. So I get a pretty good encirclement on his cavalry there, and he's going to bring his other noble cav, but I've got an extra cav unit there. He does, however, have infantry units, but I will keep that unit of Galatian Royal Guard in support. So I've got a pretty good encirclement going on here. And I'm pretty pleased with that. Should enable me to win that cav fight, so I've got an extra cav unit. So he's pulling some infantry units off, so I want to take advantage of this now. So I'm going to eventually move up and attack him. I apologise, guys, if I don't get any close up to the battle, because I was trying to control the army. So that is the disadvantage of live com style battles, if you will. But the replays, I've got some replays, more replays to do, so I will obviously be doing that. But I prefer to do it this way because it allows me to show you the actual statistics again. So I went into shield wall there. I'm not really sure why I did that. But I'm just going to push up now with my phalanxes. And so see if I can break them. As you can see, I'm very quickly winning the cavalry fight, and I've managed to snag out his general's unit there. I think it's his general's unit, and I was thinking if I could kill his general unit, because that would enable me to do take advantage of him quite quite a bit there in that battle if I get his general. But however, I did get snagged up on one of his pikes here, and of course, as I said in other videos and stuff, it's really extremely difficult to withdraw cavalry out of a fight once they're engaged. They will take enormous casualties if you do so. I just had to leave that unit there, and hopefully with the support of that Galatian Royal Guard it enable us to kill that general unit as best as possible. So you might have just heard me whispering to myself. Yeah, so I'm whispering to myself there because I was kind of frustrated that I couldn't withdraw them. But anyway guys, basically I'm just going to push forward here, but as you can see I've done well with my citizen cavalry. They are going very strong, and I easily win that cavalry fight. I mean, this is the point. Citizen cavalry is usable by like Sparta and Athens and factions that were not known to field good cavalry, yet they've got a cavalry unit that's a match for Carthage's beast cavalry. So that is a bit of a complaint for me. Carthage should have better cavalry than that, but I was pretty much taking advantage of that fact. I knew that. So anyway, I'm going to put my guys in the phalanx here. Sometimes when the units groups up, even if they're all the same units, they don't want to go into phalanx, so it's strange like that. So anyway, here comes this javelin shooting in my phalanx there, so I want to stop that from happening because that will take quite a bit of damage to my phalanx. And as you can see, I'm not going to be able to cover all his men, but I'll be able to cover all the pike units. And what I'll use my royal peltis there. The royal peltis there to basically support on my far left to stop myself getting flanked. So one of my cav got snagged up on his infantry, and I couldn't get it out because it's just obviously it's impossible to get anything out. But I've got 2 free for hammer and anvil, so I'm beginning to do that. My ally has not yet begun his attack, but fortunately he's kept close enough that the other Carthaginian player can't outflank me, so it's not really too big of a deal. As again, I can't really bring you as many close-ups to his battle because I was so busy focusing on trying to manage this one. So anyway, I was pretty confident though at this point. I'd done pretty well, and my infantry was way better. As you can see, some of these Carthaginian cavalry units are already starting to rout. So I mean, my infantry is a lot better. I'm just a bit outnumbered, but because I've taken cavalry advantage, it doesn't particularly matter. So at this stage, I'm easily pushing in, and I've already broken his very 4 units on his very far left or my right. So now my Galatian Royal Guard have got the flank now, and that was the original purpose. And they are, as I said, they're an extremely good infantry unit, a very good sword and shield infantry unit. Be very careful in fighting them. But again, they're pretty expensive. But like I was saying earlier when I started, I have found Egypt to be probably in a lot of ways the second best faction that I've encountered so far. Macedon is the best. Their burning is also very good. The units are quite expensive, but Egypt is very good. The only area where Egypt is a wee bit weak is in melee cavalry. And as I said, shock cavalry, unless it gets sort of fixed up, it's not going to be as good as it could be. So at this stage, the Spartan ally of mine is fully engaging against the other Carthaginian, or about to engage against the other Carthaginian player. So I want to get in quick because I wasn't sure how well he'd do. So I've managed to pretty much destroy my own opponent, and I'm just starting to outflank him. So as you can see, my infantry and cavalry, a couple of them took some heavy losses, but mostly that was a very one-sided fight. 3 units of those Hellenic Royal Guard took no casualties at all, I just destroyed them. So a very advantageous battle for me there. And my Royal Peltis have held up there into the bargain as well. So at this stage it should have been fairly easy pickings to stop them, but I'll take my hat off to this other Carthaginian player. He does a very good job of holding out against both of us. So his ally is going to try and retreat into him. I'll take advantage of that. As you can see, my opponent is losing the missile duel. However, his cavalry is completely outflanked him on the other side. And I was thinking of basically striking at the enemy general there again to try and help break up morale. But he does a pretty good job of blocking. So I've got my own general there, and I'm just going to get guys into phalanx now because I'm about to engage in more battle. Excuse me, guys. Well, I'm just trying to move stuff around here, but still getting used to the whole pacing of Rome too. So, but if I don't do it as well as some people might expect, just because I'm not used to it completely yet, anyway. Well, so I was just trying to catch out the remainder of those units before they could regroup as well. So here you go. My opponent goes into ally goes into wedge. It's not a bad idea. I keep forgetting about it. he's going to attack there, but as you can see, the other Carthaginian player is going to fall back. But with me on his flank like that and still in such good numbers, it's pretty hard. And as you can see, they've had to pull back their line. Some of them, my opponent did regroup some of his own units, but overall, this fight is pretty much in our favour now, seeing as I'm able to dominate my opponent on my side. So I don't know if he just attacked some pikes there. He might have. I don't know if that was such a good idea. I was trying to find routes into the back of his forces there, but once again, you have to be careful about it. And I was wary of this because once you engage in a battle like this in Rome 2 with Cav, it's almost impossible to get out with anything. You'll lose up to half of your men, 10 to 15 men of every unit, Cav unit, just trying to pull out. It's like the defense becomes 0. So you don't want to do that if you can help it. But it shouldn't matter too much because we've done a pretty good job at this stage stopping the Carthaginians here. So we've basically outflanked our opponent. My ally is not doing for good, however, he is getting pretty badly beaten, but I arrived just in time to offer support to him. So I'm just trying to get my guys in now. Another thing I noticed too, if you don't watch the phalanx, you can easily forget that you're in phalanx or not in phalanx. It's not as easy to notice as in Rome 2. I mean in the original Rome, so that's why you'll probably see me doing that. I'm just trying to micro everything here, which in micro, as you know, is not my speciality. I broke my phalanx up here so I could run, but now I can't for some reason get back into it. There we go, I do get back in there, I'm going to get a sandwich there, but I'm not too concerned because I can bring in extra support units around the flank. And anyway, you might hear me whistling myself getting frustrated my troops not doing what I wanted there. And I was going into shield wall there just to slow them up a bit, stall units, that sort of thing. But generally speaking here, once I've got my opponent pinned down, I'll win. All over here they're getting quite badly outflanked. So anyway, I'm trying to move my guys along here. I apologise again for that whispering. I forgot to turn the sound off, it's really annoying. Now I'm going to lose that unit over there to these guys because he's managed to gang up on me. But as you can see, he's pretty much broken through my ally, so at this stage it was still up in the air. My ally's army did not do very well at all. It's basically because long phalanxes always beat short. And that is realistic. That is very realistic. And those African pikemen will be better than, because they're a long phalanx, will generally speaking, should beat the Spartans because they're only a traditional short phalanx. But at this stage, it's still pretty good for us. I'm still in pretty good numbers here. Most of my units are still pretty healthy, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm bringing my units over to support, and anyway, I'm just holding on there and just trying to push through basically. But we're doing okay now. Although I was a wee bit concerned with my ally there, but the Carthaginian player still trying to reorganise his troops, and he is pretty weighed down by my forces pinning him down. So I was going with my bowman over there, and anyway, I'm just pushing in now into the centre. I see a big gap into the centre there, and I'm trying to push in on it basically. And he's having to divide forces off. So my ally, although has broken up quite a bit, some of his troops are regrouped. And I'm just trying to bring as many troops as I can now to end this once and for all. So anyway, just pushing in here, trying to take advantage. We're just basically steadily encircling him and crushing him. But hats off to this Carthaginian player. He did a pretty good job holding two people up at once. It's very frustrating, very difficult to get out of that situation once it happens. So I ended up losing most of my cav there. So he destroyed my cav. He destroyed the Spartan cav. But my infantry is just much better. As a faction, Egypt is just quite a bit better than Carthage. So, yeah. And most of the time I face Carthage, I always come against the elephants. Another thing to do with Rome 2 is there's no rules. There's like there's no established rules. So, and because of the crappy chat system where no one knows if anyone's saying anything unless they actually press Y to look at it, you don't know if someone specified any rules. So, you can run across a player who's you might say CWB just because you want to play like the original run Total War, and then you're finding ones bought like 4 artillery and 3 elephants, or 2 elephants, whatever, and and you specify the rules, and because they couldn't see it or didn't bother to look, so they need to get a better chat system so you can actually be made to see what the chat is. You see the chat because it's right there in front of your face, and they're saying so and so and so and so, and you think, right, I'm not allowed to bring this, but this way no one follows any rules, so as a result, you don't, you're always fighting the same, rule-breaking armies if you set rules. Anyway, as you see, the Carthaginian Army is starting to break now. So I've lost quite a lot of my men at this stage. My infantry's still strong, but I lost my cav and a few numbers of my infantry there. But at this stage it is over, and we've managed to win this one. So I was pretty pleased with the end result here. Just trying to micro all this. You probably look at my guys, and you realise I'm not the best micro. So anyway, I just typed GG here. GG, so it was a good game to our opponents there. It should end any moment now. There you go. So they're only a close victory. So I'm just going to save it there. So yeah, look at that. You have a limited number of time to save before it quits on you. That's annoying as well. Especially if you want to give the game a specific title so you can organise it. But there is the stats, and I might just pause here, guys, because I think I might not give much time. So if we look at the forces I have there, the Hellenic Royal Guard, look at that, all of them over 200 except for one of them, and it was just short of 200. Then the Galatian Royal Guard, big numbers. The cavalry, two of them, they did do pretty good. The pikemen very well. The Nubian bowmen did pretty well, and this Royal Pelt has got 335. It's a very good unit. I don't know, I guess that was apparent directly me. His army just didn't compete with mine at all. Nothing got even over 50 there, so I just destroyed him. That was E. His name was E. But if we look at the kills there, I got pretty much all the kills from my team. I got 2,500 kills there, and only lost 879. I had the smallest army too. So that was a pretty dominant fight for me. I don't know what all that noise is in the background. I must be moving on my couch here, rubbing my hands in victory. But anyway, it's a good game for Miqua, E, and Greek Diamethos. I think it's how I say it, Diamethos or Diamethos. A good game for those guys. And hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you soon next time.